This week on Lone Lobos.
They're just looking at me like, what are you doing?
Yeah. This 12-year-old bringing $350 for the fees.
I feel that everything that has ever happened in my life, especially in the dog world, everything happened for a reason. I think trainers, again, they focus on obedience, teaching the dogs the key 5 words, sit, stay, come down, heel. But there's a whole lot of other things that go into ownership of a dog. I was driving the other day.
Oh, no.
When did you get into dogs?
I got into dogs when I was 12 years old.
Whoa.
I got into dogs because I was getting in a lot of trouble.
3, 2, 1, go!
Come on.
Well, welcome back to the Lone Lobos podcast. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We have a very special guest, but before we get into it, as always, thank you so much for joining us for the free version of this podcast. If you'd like to support Jacob, myself, and Monica and Jordan and the rest of the podcast streams and watch our unedited ad-free version of the podcast, you could do so at lonelobos.supercast.com. Supercast. And as always, thank you to our Lobitos exclusivos who support us week in and week out. And now, without further ado, we've got actually, we have like 200% the amount of bodies that we usually have people. No, they're not people.
They're people.
They're dogs. They're animals.
Treat a dog like a human.
And we need some help with our doggies. I need some help with my doggies.
Yeah,
So I know. And we are joined today by a really close family friend. He is all around town. If you're in LA, you might have seen him walking around a flurry of dogs. What do you call is it a gaggle of dogs?
Pack.
A pack.
Pod.
We're joined by Steve. Thank you so much for coming through, bro.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
me.
And it depends on what area you're in. We could be a gang.
Okay, yeah, we could be a gang of dogs. We could be a pack. We could be
flock.
if you're letting the dogs out.
It's a gaggle.
It's a gaggle
Yeah.
for sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast
Thank you, guys.
today.
Thank you guys.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
So, how would you? It doesn't even sound like training encapsulates all of what you do. Is there a different word for is there a word for what you describe? What is it that you do? How would you describe what you do?
No, I'm a dog trainer.
Okay.
If by the true definition of it, I train dogs. I don't whisper to them.
Yeah.
I do train them. But what I've done, I think for me in growing my business and as time has grown, passed by, I've kind of started doing a lot of different things for my clients.
Mm.
And so I do only for my clients, boarding. I'll help them with any type of stuff in terms of needing to go to the vets or doing anything. I mean, showing, I've done handling, I've done a bunch of different stuff like that for them.
When did you get into dogs?
I got into dogs when I was 12 years old.
Whoa.
I got into dogs because I was getting in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
And from that little trouble past that I had, it was it was either get in to do something or go to the military. And I mean, at 12 I wasn't, but that's where they were forced to. They were like, "No, we're gonna put you in the military." I was like, "No, I don't want to do that." And
I don't want to hold a gun.
yeah, and it was kind of it was my dad who wasn't really pushing me for that, but he really wanted me to do something.
Huh. Okay.
And he was like, hey, what do you really want to do? And I told him I wanted a dog. Now, mind you, I grew up in South Central.
Okay.
And my dad, we didn't have a lot of money. And so this is 1987. And I end up picking up a magazine called Dog World Magazine. And I remember that magazine literally changed my life because it was so many breeds that people were advertising.
Whoa.
And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? And I found the breed that I wanted, which was an American Bulldog. And it was $1,000.
Whoa.
What?
And I'm gonna tell you, my dad pulled it off. I don't know how he did it. My dad was the biggest. I mean, he's still around. I love him. He was my biggest supporter. He was like, "All right, let's do it," and he helped me. And then living in the inner city, I end up having where not very many people um, inoculated their dogs, and
Okay.
so my dog ended up catching parvo,
Whoa.
and I had no idea as a 12-year-old what the heck it was,
Yeah.
what was going on, and we end up tacking a big bill, and she didn't make it.
What?
And I was devastated. Again, here I am, a 12-year-old. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, like, ugh. And the breeder reached out to me, was like, hey, how your dog doing? And I
Oh
told
my
him what
God.
happened. And he was like, well, I got another one. I'll sell it to you for $750. I mean, it's kind of, and my dad did. And I don't know how he did it. I'm telling you, he pulled it off again. And yeah. And then from there, I saw that. Again, as a 12-year-old, you don't really see like, oh, my dad came up with the money, but I
Oh,
did
yeah.
understand that it was hard for us.
Yeah.
And I understood what he did for me. So it was like, yeah, I got to do this.
Whoa.
And
What was the
so
dog's name?
the first one was Ruby, and the dog that I ended up getting the second was Casper.
Casper.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a
So you get Ruby, you get Casper, and you kind of start training Casper on your own. Because to my knowledge, there's no like you go to dog training college and you learn all of the tips and tricks and secrets, and then you go out into the world and you're a dog trainer. Like, do you do it all on your own? Like, you figure everything out on your own? How does it work?
No. It was funny because I went to pick Casper up, and I feel that everything that has ever happened in my life, especially in the dog world,
Mhm.
everything happened for a reason.
Okay.
I mean, I will talk about it. I get there to go pick up the dog, and I was like I said, my dad was like, let me backtrack a little.
Yeah.
When I get there, the breeder was talking to my dad the whole time because he's thinking he's the adult.
Yeah.
This is the guy who's buying the dog, and my
Yeah.
dad's all like, no. And he's very shy too. He's like, no. It's my son. And the guy's like, and he's like 6'4". He's a big dude, and he's like, you want the dog? Like, you're the one getting it? And he's like, you know what you're getting into, and this and that. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try. I want to get into training. I want to do this. And he lived in Temecula,
Oh,
and and it was like a drive. And I was like, can you help me? And my dad was sitting there like scratching his head, like, I'm not driving to Temecula, again. But it was the guy that basically mentored me was there.
Mm.
He was there picking up another dog,
Oh,
and he
whoa.
goes, hey, this guy lives in Venice, and you guys live in LA. And he tells this guy, at that time, he was a 20-ish, young, he's Mexican dude, into motorcycles, into all kinds of different stuff. He didn't want to deal with a kid, So he's looking at the guy like, why are you doing this to me? And but he ended up taking my number. I hadn't taken his number,
Whoa.
and I ended up literally scraping poop for like 3 months for this guy. And in return, I think he saw me. I was catching the bus going to his house. My dad would
Dang.
drop me off, and he literally lived off in Venice, like, and he was a hard rocker. I don't know if you know the group Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he grew up with those guys. We were going to
Oh,
in their
dang.
garage, like listening to their music, them playing, banging it out. We're just like, I was just a kid. I was like, well, I grew up on hip hop, but I mean, I ended up liking it. But
Yeah.
yeah, he took me under his wing. Now, I got into a sport called Schutzhund. Schutzhund is a German protection sport,
Whoa.
which consists of obedience, protection, and tracking. What it's a sport that was made as a breed stability test for German Shepherds way back in the late 1800s. And it ended up opening up and becoming a sport for a lot of different breeds. It's a very small group of people in the United States that train.
Yeah.
And in California is even smaller to find clubs to join. And the only club at that time was in Fontana.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So again, I'm living in LA, and I'm a 12-year-old, and my dad.
Still
Remember,
12?
I'm still 12. I'm
That's
getting
weird.
into it. And
No time has passed. You did all
you
this
know,
so fast.
I mean,
That was a big year for you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm still 12. We're still there, bro. And I'm there, and literally, he's in that sport. He's training, and he says, "You want to join the sport? You know, you're gonna have to pay the fees. You got to do this, and it's tough. And most guys can't get it done. They don't do it. You know, they fall off after the first year." And I was determined. I was like, "Oh, no, I want to do this." And sure enough, I joined the club. And on some days I would ride with him. On other days, my dad would take me. But it was Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, 3 days a week.
Whoa. And you joined with Casper as your
As the
tracking,
dog, as to
protection.
yeah. And remember, she's a bull breed, and that's not like the breed that they want to see. They want to see German Shepherds, Malinois, Boxers, Dobermans, Rottweilers, the German breeds. They're looking at us like we're competing with these American bulldogs, and they're like, "Who are you guys?
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
guys doing?" But the club at first, especially with me, I'm a 12-year-old again.
Yeah.
They're just looking at me like,
What the
"What are you doing?"
Yeah. This 12-year-old bringing $350 for the fees.
Yeah, I was like 125 for the year.
Dude, that's
Uh,
crazy.
and again, I don't have a job. My dad's paying for all this.
Wait, so what is the sport? What are y'all doing?
So it's a sport. It's a competition.
Okay.
It's literally, like I said, consists of obedience, protection, and tracking. And
Okay.
what it is that you train your dog to do to go and compete against other people
Okay.
in protection. You do a whole routine of protection.
Whoa.
And then you're doing a whole obedience routine.
Okay.
And then tracking is the tough one, is where you're teaching the dog to follow your scent and picking up finding
Whoa.
articles.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't very strong on the tracking part.
It's
And again, where do you find a field to go do that? Back then, I was just at Chino yesterday,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was on somebody's property. We're at a party, and back then it was nothing but farmland.
Fields, yeah.
And I remember I was telling my wife, I was like, this was just farmlands when I used to come and train just 30 years ago. And now it's like all these homes. But today it's getting harder and harder to compete in that sport, especially in California, because you don't find any farmlands
True.
to go track fields. But so you get into that. So there's a lot of little things with it. It's the sport is the main sport that basically supplies a lot of law enforcement and military dogs. But what the little nasty secret about it is that it's the sport where the dogs that don't make it go and become police dogs.
Oh,
So
whoa.
we in the sport call them the shitters.
What?
When the shitters don't make it, they go and become police dogs. The dogs that don't listen, that don't out, that don't
What?
are the
Wait,
dogs.
they become the police dogs?
And the ones that do listen become military dogs?
No, the ones that we train, that the guys, the people that do succeed in their dogs do work,
go
are
into
dogs that are going to competition
Yeah.
and win and can become. You can do very well with your dog if your dog is titled.
Mm.
So in the sport, this guy, give him his name, Al Banuelos, give him his props. He titled the first American Bulldog in the history of the sport. Because there was no American Bulldogs doing it. Like I said, no bull breeds were doing it. So he was the first guy to ever title one. His
Whoa.
dog Predator.
Oh my God. What a
yeah.
name for a dog.
And then
Come here, Predator.
the third dog was my dog that I titled, and I was 14 years old now. So we're moving up in age.
Whoa.
So at 14, so it takes about 2 years to train a dog. Because
Okay.
you got to start from a puppy and you got to do all the work. And by the time you can't, at that time, if I recall, your dog has to be at least 16 or 18 months old before you can compete. And so, and then all the training that entails to go into that, to get into that point. So this time I still had Casper, but I had ended up buying a male dog from a breeder in Alabama. And I brought him, and he just had so much drive for the job. Like he was like bred to do that.
Well,
And it was like sight unseen. We called this guy in Alabama. He had some dog. Remember, Dog World magazine. You know, he found this breeder, and he's just like, "Yeah, I got some dogs. You want them?" You know, and we bought 4 dogs, and two males, 2 females. I kept the 2 males, and one of that male, his name was Hammer, and that's the dog that, in a sense, put me on the map. in that sport.
Wow.
So as a 14-year-old, here I am titling the dog, and he's the third American Bulldog in the history of the sport that was ever titled. Now there's many people have done it. There's probably like 30 something plus, maybe more than that, American Bulldogs, but it was Al and I who started that whole thing.
Whoa.
Wow.
So we were the foundation of what everybody wanted to do, and the sport in that breed exploded. So
Huh. And then you were saying like you have to start with the dog as a puppy. Is that true for like all types of training? Like, 'cause I imagine you can train a dog as it gets older, but like that's the best case scenario. Start
I
as a
mean,
puppy.
best case scenario.
Yeah.
If you're gonna train, start them young.
What are the best things that you can do as like if you do come into the hands of a puppy and you do kind of want to train them? Or we were kind of talking, I forget if we got it on air, but you were kind of saying that your pedagogy, the way that you teach and the way that your thought process about training kind of maybe is against the grain with what a lot of folks, kind of in and around the States do with their dogs in keeping them indoors. So what is part of your, kind of thought process? Maybe we should keep them outdoors still because this is kind of what they're bred, and that's, for hundreds of years they've been doing this, and then all of a sudden in the last 30 something years now they're inside. Or that was
The
a loaded
first
question.
part of to answer your first part, I'll say that I approach training. I'm not here to bash anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Approach training in the sense
Yeah, we
of
want to hear about you.
looking at the dog
Mhm.
and what is the strengths and what are the weaknesses,
Okay.
and I adjust around the dog.
Yeah.
I don't have a method.
Yeah.
I don't come in and say, "Oh, this is my method, and I'm going to do this." I believe, being in the industry as long as I have, watching other people train,
Mhm.
and mentoring people along the way, I see that everybody wants to create a method,
Yeah, like a one size
like a
fits all.
one size fits all,
Something that you can put on a pamphlet and buy, or something like a
and
book that you can buy.
different breeds,
Yeah.
different age. Dogs are so different. The way
Different
you raise them,
personalities.
yeah, personalities. The way you raise them versus as opposed to the way I raise them, the
Yeah.
way Jacob will raise them, it's different, and dogs adjust to that. And as a trainer, I have to come in and see what your wants and your needs are, because that's kind of how I break it down. There's your wants that you want, that everybody wants their dogs to do, but then there's needs that need to be done. And so I try to put in and customize the training
Mm.
for the dog and you.
Whoa.
That's my approach. And so with that being said, dogs like dogs have changed in my lifetime.
Yeah.
We went from dogs being outside in my generation, and before that, dogs were literally just outside. I couldn't have a dog, which is why I wanted a dog. My parents wouldn't let me have a dog. My mom's Hispanic. She's like, I don't want no chucho.
What?
I was like, no. Oh, she has dogs now.
Yeah.
They jump on the couch and everything.
Yeah.
But it's funny how she's changed. But at that time she didn't want, and literally when I see it, it's just crazy. But with that being said, dogs have changed, and so in the last 30, 35 years that I've been in dogs and I started training, I've seen the changes. People now have brought the dogs in,
Yeah.
and have made them not just pets. They made them their family member, their
Yeah.
kids, their child. And I believe that a problem that I see a lot is that it's separation anxiety.
Mm.
And it could come in many forms: destruction, barking, peeing, urinating in the
Yeah.
house. Hey, come on.
Eh.
But it could come in a lot of different ways, and people still don't realize how to train their dogs
Yeah.
to live in a home
Mm.
correctly with them, even though it's been years now. And I think trainers, again, they focus on obedience, teaching the dogs the key 5 words: sit, stay, come down, heel.
Hmm.
But there's a whole lot of other things that go into ownership of a dog,
Yeah.
and training of your dog, because you got to teach them to live your lifestyle. I call it creating conditional habits.
Hmm.
What time you wake up, what time you go to sleep, what time you leave. You teach the dog all these little things they get used to. It's just like,
A routine.
yeah, it's a routine.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, that sounds lovely. I guess at this point right now, I'm like, the hardest thing that I've found is like, I wouldn't know how to travel with this guy. He's pretty like quiet, and now he's being a bitch because we're on the podcast, but he's usually really great. But putting him on a plane or traveling, bouncing around, I'm like,
The plane stuff's not too bad.
I mean, but he's never been. He hadn't even been on a train before.
if they never seen it, they don't know how to react.
Yeah.
You could recreate a plane, but the whole pressure of the cabin and all that,
Mo's like, yo, what the fuck?
yeah, it becomes an issue. You know, I always like to travel. It depends on how we're traveling, but with most clients, I tell them put the dog in a crate.
Mm.
It's the safest way to travel with a dog.
Mm.
I mean, the dog's in one place safe. And they crates are created, and you shouldn't get a huge crate. It's crazy when I go to somebody's house and they have a jicama in a size an extra large crate,
It's bouncing around.
and then the dogs are peeing in one corner, and then they're sitting in another corner, and I'm like, that's why they're doing it. Dogs like the feeling of being like in a little shelter, like little nest,
Yeah.
and that's where you want them. You kind of get a crate that's fitted for their size, not much bigger than that.
Okay.
Just enough for them to spin around and stand up and lay down, but that's how you want them to be. And even in traveling, I travel with my dogs. I tell all my clients, I put your dog in a crate. It's just I was driving the other day.
Oh no!
I was driving the other day, and this lady had her dog sticking out of the wind air, and she slammed the brake, and the dog's head hit the car. And I was telling, it was my son in the car. Said, "That's why you don't do that."
Oh my
gosh.
gosh!
So and that dog could have easily got out the car too. Like,
Yeah.
it was on the street, but she slams the brake, and the dog just slams his head, flies out, and he hits his head on the side of the door.
No, I mean, we've had friends have dogs voluntarily jump out of the car, like for
While it's
random
moving.
stuff because the window is down and jump into traffic and all this stuff. Like, no, there's
Yeah, you got to train them,
Yeah.
to learn how to travel. Yeah, so
need that double
but
seatbelt.
put them in a belt or in a crate. For me, as in my business, I just
Yeah.
use crates.
I was about to say, because you could do a whole bunch of stuff. I see some people do the bunch of latches on the dog and kind of hold him in one place in a harness or the crate, or I don't know. Yeah, this dog just went in the back seat.
I for sure hit like a stop sign real quick. My dog was behind me, and so then all I hear is
She
just
falls forward.
Hits your
on
chair.
my back. Oop.
Yeah, I don't know. I drive with Mo a decent bit, and he always sits in the back seat.
He's chill.
Yeah, he's pretty chill. I definitely drive a little differently when I have Mo though.
Safer.
Safe, yeah, for sure.
Take curves a little slower. Because my seats are the back. They're like a weird type of leather where they're real slick. So if I take a turn like with some gumption,
Oh,
my Jeep, he's like he'll stay in the same position, but he goes like this. Kind of slide, so I feel bad.
Wait, Steve, I have a question. How do you know my mom? How did you first meet my mom?
that's a
Because
funny.
this is how we know
Okay.
each other.
I met your mom through Sway and Tech.
Okay, no, I didn't know. Obviously, okay.
So
So you were up on the radio or what? You were spitting?
no, you know what? Okay, so check it out. I was walking some dogs in up in Angeles Vista,
Okay.
and I met this dude walking these big pits, and just by chance I said, "Hey man, where you get your dog?" We're talking, and he says, "Oh, my name is Quincy." And I said, "Oh, what's up, Quincy?" We started to talk. We became friends, and he goes, "I got a couple friends that need to get their dogs trained," and he turned me on to Tech and Sway.
Whoa.
And I was like, "Oh, okay," and they were. I was already listening to them on the Wake Up Show,
Oh no
No
way!
way.
and it was just because I was listening to them on Friday nights, or it was Fridays and Saturdays, and now I'm meeting these guys, and I'm like, cool. So Tech and I hit it off really well. Both of Sway and I
Yeah.
also, but Tech and I really hit it off really quick, and he said, like, I want to put you on the radio. And so I get on the radio, but wait, you're gonna love this. We get on the radio, and I've talked to your mom about this before. And your mom was doing the radio,
Yeah.
was there
Working
with
the
him.
boards.
No, she was sitting, she was doing semi in the interview with us.
Okay.
Your mom starts arguing with me,
What?
telling me like, so what do you think about dogs? And the way how your mom's voice is, it's definitely built for
Well,
radio.
the radio voice.
Yeah, the radio. And she's going and she's like, I don't think so. I don't think that does. And I don't remember what exactly it was. It was 20 plus
you're
years ago.
traumatized on
Dude, you
But-
get on there like talk about dogs, and you're like, this woman's like, you're wrong. You're like, wait, what? What do you mean?
Basically, yeah. She's going
you
off
thought
on
it was
me,
a safe space.
and I was like, oh man, God, Crumb, like we're supposed to be cool, and that's really
You're
kind
going
of
off script.
my first introduction to your mom.
No way.
That's insane.
Obviously, this was way before you were born,
Yeah.
and we just maintained a friendship throughout this whole course.
And is that how you kind of got into helping with all of hip hop's dogs? Or were you already
this out.
kind of
Check
working?
this out. 18 years old, so we're still going, right? We're moving
Yeah.
forward. 18. My first gig in doing hip hop was the Snoop Dogg video. What's my name? Remember when the dogs morphed?
What?
I trained the 2 pit bulls in that video,
What?
Whoa.
and they were owned by another gentleman. Listen, I'll give that guy a lot of credit because he's the one who got the job, but I was the trainer.
Whoa.
And we just it was from that point it just kind of started dealing with a lot more of the hip hop industry, but
Wow.
that kind of opened a big
I
door
mean,
for
that's
me.
the biggest dog there is.
Big Snoop, yeah.
Mm.
And it's funny because I'm still friends with those guys, all
Wow.
these years later.
That's cool.
And you stayed in LA, or did you ever bounce around?
So okay, let's go back to
Okay.
16, 17. I end up
Steve is 70, by the way.
I end up
if you haven't seen him, if you're only
competing,
listening.
and 4 years in a row we were kicking butt, and that it was like the last year in that sport, they sent out a memo stating that all bull breeds will be banned from the sport
What?
because we were kicking ass.
What? Really?
And
Patch update?
and they were just like, and so we're like, what? And so that last year we went in there and we brought into the nationals like 7, 8 dogs because we were helping a lot of our group grew. And my partner, he took second place, and now first place represents the United States and Europe in the
Whoa.
world sports, going to compete against all the dogs in the world. And he took second place, and it was just like it was devastating for us as a group. So being that I ended up having a chance to, there were like a lot of the judges from over there said, hey, come down. They came to watch because they were like, here's a Mexican dude and a kid from South Central who's still in high school
Yeah.
kicking all everybody's butts here. And we go, and then but after it was all done, I lost a lot of interest in it, but I ended up going to Europe. I
Whoa.
was supposed to be there for a couple weeks, and was over there for damn near 18 months, traveling, training dogs out there, learning how to deal with dogs.
How different, and this sounds so silly, but how different are the dogs out there? than out
Way
here?
different. European
Really?
dogs are way different. They raise them differently too. It was crazy because I remember one day everybody has out their little cars. We in America said bigger is better. You have a mom
Okay.
driving a Suburban.
Okay, yeah.
Over there, they put 5 guys in a little Audi, and that's normal. So I'm like, where do you put your dogs? And their dogs travel in the trunk.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, they all the equipment, everything, the dogs in the trunk, and they drive from field to field training.
Just black.
And it's just
Darkness
like
for the
wow.
dog.
No, the dogs are
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah.
if you think about
They
it,
like
it's
it
another
almost.
shelter.
Yeah.
It's a nest.
Yeah.
So dogs like would prefer that.
Dogs would prefer that by nature, but
Mm-mm.
humans,
Don't.
humans are like, that's cruel, that's mean, don't do that. It's I have a saying: if you treat a dog like a human, he's going to turn around and treat you like a dog.
Mm.
And a lot of people try to humanize their dogs, and they do.
Of course.
And they do.
How
and-
could you not?
and you know what? I don't have a
This
problem.
guy.
I don't have a problem with it because it brings me a lot of business.
Yeah, for sure.
It just
Oh
keeps
my
on-
God, he's farming us.
it comes into that, LA is like, when living in LA, there's so many people from different aspects of life, and from from nothing and all the way to the rich, and I get them all per se, because people say, hey, well, I don't get them all, but figuratively speaking,
Yeah.
yeah, because of
Everyone
problems,
loves
is
doggies.
because it keeps me having a job.
It's because of like the shift in sort of how we as people view dogs and want them to live. Instead of outside, they live outside. It's no, this is my fur baby. It lives inside. It goes with me everywhere. And then when you leave it, it has this temper tantrum kind of.
Yeah, that's part of the problems. You get most people that get a dog and they want to do the right thing, and the right thing is raising it and doing how to raise it correctly. And so, the best thing is to hire a trainer. But a lot of times, people hire people like me later on in the game when the dog's already created a lot of problems. And so now, to make their lives better, we have to undo all the other issues that they have.
Yeah.
And then finally get to the things that we want them to do.
So how much of when you get into a spot, how much is it I'm training the dog and I'm also training the human?
Oh, it depends. It should be 50-50, but sometimes it's 80% the human and 20% the dog.
Dang.
And sometimes it's vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just, but it should be 50-50. But no, some people need a lot of help.
Really?
Yeah, the dog's the easy part. It's trying to convince them to understand what they need to do with their dog and how to get their dog right.
Okay.
And being consistent.
That's the key, is the consistency part.
Consistency, scheduling, and routine.
Dan, that's great for us.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we've been, not with Hikama per se, but with some of our other dogs, it definitely was so evident within the first couple of months of getting to work with Steve, like, whoa, that repetition, that sense of routine, like you're talking about, totally, like it's almost like there's a short-term memory bank that can be totally overridden within like 2 weeks if you just drill. You could have like a new dog so quickly if you're like, you're at night, you're going in the crate. At the morning, you're eating at this time. While we're walking, we're not going to the bathroom, we're walking.
It's a walk.
Like,
I'm proud of you, bro. I'm
just do
proud
it.
of you. I'm proud of you.
Just like all of those things, if you have the ability to hit that on a schedule, it's just like, then your dog, like at night, will just start walking over there and be like, yep, it's time to go to bed.
So, but if the walk is just a walk, when do they go pee?
Whenever you allow them to. But the catch is most. You know what? Okay.
Some people don't have backyards. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Think about it like this. Yeah, and think about it like this. On most walks, people tell me this: my dog stops and pee at every tree.
Yeah.
And my answer is because
Why
you
are
let
you
him.
stopping?
It's because you let him.
Yeah.
So the idea that I approach is walk, keep the dog moving. Started from an early stage of conditioning the dog that we're going for a walk, and that's what we're doing. We're walking, and anytime you choose, because you're the owner, allow them to take a chance to take a pee. And then the dogs start learning that 1, 2, 3 stops is what you're going to do. The rest is a walk. But people don't. Again, it's to get them to understand that.
Yeah.
And moving creates constitution, and constitution, the idea of that is to, once you get moving, the dog wants to do what? Use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so get them moving first. And once you get them moving, then they're going to defecate and urinate. And once that's done, you can finish your walk. But if you're stopping and doing it, then really just sprinkles, they, especially male dogs, end up marking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not doing the job. And then they come home and still pee.
Yeah. No, you're so right. How do a dream of mine is to have dogs never have to be on a leash. Like, just have the wherewithal to either be alongside me or roam and be smart enough to like not get lost or any of this stuff. Is it different breeds? Like,
no, it could be any breed. You can train it, but my approach has always been really simple. You know what makes an off-leash dog? A perfect on-leash dog.
Huh.
If your dog is perfect on leash to the point where you're just, that leash is nothing.
Yeah.
He'll eventually just be off
Do
leash.
that.
Yeah. You ever think about this? You ever exit the freeway and you see a homeless person and their dog just sitting there.
Yeah.
And their dog's not on a leash, it's just there. They
Mm.
don't train their dogs. It becomes repetition of you follow me, I'm gonna feed you, I'm gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
You just sit here, don't move. We're gonna sit here all day. And that's how you should really raise your
Yeah.
dog. But people are too scared, or they don't want to correct.
It feels too harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those people, I mean, the homeless, they're the best trainers. They're out there walking in the street without leashes, and their
Yeah.
dogs just following them. And it doesn't take much to do that. It's just correcting them and not being scared to correct them. When you correct them, I mean, now it's getting to a point where don't use a choke chain. Oh, a pinch collar, that's hard. I mean, dogs have been. You need.
I use a pinch collar.
Well, it depends on the dog. I don't really like using them too much, but some dogs need them.
He's like, you suck for that, actually. But anyways,
I meant for
leaving.
myself.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've what's the word I'm looking for? Domesticated dogs, not but humans
royal we.
domesticated dogs 10,000 years ago. And the first thing they did was put a rope around their neck or something, and they got control of them.
Yeah.
Same that we did with horses.
A lasso.
And then with horses they end up figuring that they put them in
remote.
they put a halter in their mouth, and that's how you control them. But now you have gimmicks like that. Oh, use a halty on a dog, which
It's like a
mimics the
muzzle?
idea. It's like a little muzzle with a leash.
Yeah.
I mean, it works with some dogs, but
How does that
it's not-
even like?
Well, the idea is that you could
dragging the
control a
head back?
horse, which is a 1,000-pound animal that way. Then you
moved
could
his head.
control a 60-pound dog that way.
Okay.
But dogs,
Just snapping
their
their neck?
corrections are usually on their neck and how to correct them.
Yeah.
And so but again, it's somebody came up with a gimmick. It's made them a lot of money. And I mean, I wish I came up with it, but
What's the biggest gimmick? What's the thing that if it's like, oh my god, if you're a homeowner, just don't even, or not a homeowner.
Avoid
sorry,
this
if-
gimmick.
If you're a dog owner, just don't even bother with this one. This one's a joke.
you know what bothered me the most?
Okay.
I'll tell you, that's a good question. I used to own pet stores.
Okay.
And they used to bring products for me to look and try out. And I remember the guy, his demo was like, oh, it was where you feed the dogs at their level. You can adjust the heights.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it was like you put the bowl
like-
and the dog. It was like a thing that you could
Yeah.
put in the dogs to eat,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to eat at their
So they
level.
don't have to.
And they don't have to eat
off the
from
ground?
off the ground. And I'm sitting there looking at him, and he's all like, "Yeah, it aids in digestion and makes it easy for it to flow into their system." And I'm like, "Man, I'm not taking this crap. I mean, you can take that shit away." And he's looking at me like, "Why?" I said, "Dogs have been eating on the ground for 50,000 years. They've been doing just fine."
Yeah.
They've been digesting.
You know what's funny? That probably sold like crazy in Beverly Hills.
It did.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody bought
Yeah,
it.
but I didn't buy into it. I was like, yeah,
They have
you can-
they have a step stool up to a platform.
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
The dog actually.
yeah,
they're
the
like,
dog
"Hey,
now just sits his head back.
hamsters do it. Yeah, just dogs laying on its stomach, on its back actually.
Yeah, they have for dogs the same thing, like where the hamsters go and lick the little
Yeah.
sticker where
Yeah.
they can get the water. They got bigger ones for dogs.
Well, I
That's
was wondering
crazy.
about that. I was wondering, like, are dogs capable to have those, like, their own push food, like, eat when they feel like it, or this type of stuff?
You get fat. and
Yeah,
eat
they
all
would
the
just
time.
because I've heard that dogs, if you put food in front of them, they'll eat forever until they die, until they kill themselves.
Yeah, most dogs will gorge.
Yeah,
It's in their nature.
yeah.
They don't know when their next meal is going to be.
Mm.
Most dogs think that way. But again, dogs in today's world, the way they eat and
Sometimes they're
everything
picky.
is
What
so,
the
yeah.
fuck?
They're like, she's gonna feed me.
Yeah.
She's coming home. She's gonna feed me.
A month later, she's out of the country. They're like,
yeah.
But somebody's home.
Where
yeah,
is
yeah,
she?
yeah.
And so that's there's a lot of different products in the market from when I started to what it is today. Here's probably something you guys didn't know: the pet industry is one of several industries in the economy that even through COVID, even through recessions,
Mm.
it continues to grow.
Yeah.
It
People-
continues to get bigger
People aren't
every
stopping to
year
have
because people they'll starve to death, but they'll feed their dogs.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
And
true.
they'll keep doing stuff. So yeah, it's recession proof.
I have a couple of different types of breeds of dogs. I don't really I know Hikam has a couple of different things, but I've heard, let's say, like with my miniature schnauzer, that those dogs, like we're talking about, for for generations before I've been around, have been bred for kind of a certain task. Is that like your terriers in hunting, or your like in this miniature schnauzer in fucking yapping about everything? Like,
I second that. I also have a miniature schnauzer, and she won't shut up. She's always yapping.
like I understand it's in nature.
Okay. I like this.
What am I
question.
doing wrong?
I'll answer the question of the training part, but we're gonna start with where you asked about like what their nature is, and
Yeah.
like a retriever retrieves, a pointer points.
Yeah.
I came up with an idea called the breeds of purpose.
Okay.
I'm actually writing a book on it.
Whoa.
And
we're getting an
It's the
exclusive.
breeds that serve the purpose to mankind.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of breeds. German shepherds,
What's the
pointers,
silliest task? Is there one that's like? Is there one that's
like a silly purpose.
Yeah.
task?
Yeah. What's a breed?
You know, I
that's
never
like,
thought about that.
Is there one that you're like, wait, guys, this isn't useful anymore?
Oh well, yeah, a lot of dogs are. That's the thing.
They're like, I find
That's
turnips.
that's going to answer your question. There's not much purpose anymore. So you're looking at breeds of dogs like your miniature schnauzer, which in technical terms wasn't bred for a purpose.
Okay.
There's the giant schnauzer and there's the standard schnauzer. So the standard schnauzer is the original schnauzer, and some hobbyists, some people that admire the breed wanted bigger ones.
Okay.
And they created the giants, and then
Whoa.
some said I wanted smaller, and they created the miniature. But it all started from the standard.
Okay.
And so yeah, with that being said, I every breed had a purpose. The problem is that there isn't much purposes anymore. The industrialization of the Americas and of the world basically took away a lot of the needs for animals, other than for feeding, for us to eat. But and then we just domesticated and made a purpose of just having them as pets. But there's breeds out there. I mean, retrievers retrieve, pointers point.
Yeah.
Sight hounds hunt by sight. Why I say that is it's still in their DNA, their nature, but it still needs to be trained.
Yeah.
You still need to show them, and some dogs excel, and then other ones just
it's nature and nurture.
Yeah, just nurture versus nature.
Yeah. There's kind of both of them.
Yeah.
I love that. Jordan,
I was going to ask you a question.
Mhm.
How do you make them? Here's the thing. Here's my question to you: is when it's barking, what are you doing to correct them?
When it doesn't bark, it starts making this weird like sound.
So it's whining.
Yeah. I look at her and I try to see like if she's trying to tell me something, if she wants like to go outside or if she wants to move somewhere else. And then I've got into a habit of standing in front of her and looking away like I'm not paying attention to her. So I won't give in to maybe she wants a treat because she's very addicted to those.
He's like, and that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah, there we go.
It just
There we
sounds
go.
like you're not doing anything to correct her.
Monica's like,
So-
I
turn
look
around.
away.
So I
Because-
do nothing.
She should know my feelings.
Yeah.
Excuse you.
The thing is, you got to correct them. I mean, you got to. If we're at the table and when we're kids, I don't know. Again, I believe I grew up differently from you guys. It was my parents. My mom was tough, man. That lady, she'll chancla will go around the corner and hit me. And we had to sit there and eat. We couldn't talk. You had to finish your food. And she corrected us. What I'm saying is, I grew up with that same mentality, and I think I just applied it to dogs. And I just said, listen, if we're a regimen, we I'm not trying to make a robot.
Yeah.
I hate a robot dog.
Oh yeah.
I want them to be a dog, but I think dogs learn if you teach them how to be,
Yeah.
create
How to exist
conditional
within
habits.
the conditions.
Yes,
Yeah. Of
in
that,
the family structure that you have, and again, everybody's family is different. That's why when I say I customize the training to go to work for your family, your needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my approach.
So what's the advice you would give Monica like to do?
well, he's got to see the dog. He doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
It's
that's true.
I get asked that question a lot, and I get always like, oh, how much do you charge? It's hard. It's hard to give a price when I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I haven't met the
Mm.
dog. I don't know how much work I got to do. I don't know how bad it is because everybody tells me. Okay, here's a question that I always bounce back to somebody. I say, hey, when they say, my dog's obedience is pretty good, because I ask them, does your dog listen to you? Oh yeah. If it listens to you, then why are you calling me?
Yeah.
But then I'll ask the question. I'll say, okay, let's say you're at Petco and shameless plug, I guess. You're at a pet store and you tell your dog to sit, and you walk to the back of the store. You grab a bag of dog food, and when you come out, where's your dog?
If
You'll
it's-
be surprised how many people tell me, "Oh, it's sitting there. Can I tell him to stay?" I mean, I've heard everything. No, I'm telling you, you put your dog on a sit, stay. I don't care what you tell him, but you drop the leash and you walk to go grab your bag. Is your dog going to stay there, or what's it going to do? I'm asking you that question right now.
Me, it's
What is your dog doing?
50-50. It will stay or it will follow me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 50-50. Now, people are walking in with other dogs. Kids are walking in.
It will follow me. If there's other people around, it will follow.
Okay. Well, that's life.
Yeah.
So guess what? Your dog doesn't know how to sit.
Yeah.
And he definitely don't know how to stay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
He's not the best there.
So he's not. So and that's kind of how I kind of when I'm speaking to people on the phone or I'm talking to them. Until I meet their dog, then I'll say, okay, because people always try to say, well, my dog ain't that bad. No, you got to be honest.
Yeah.
If you want me to solve your problems, you got to be honest.
I gotta know what I'm working
I got to know
with.
what I'm working with.
Yeah.
And every dog is different, time-wise, how much training and what I got to undo to get to that point that we want to get to.
Yeah.
That's, in a sense, how I base what I'm going to charge you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not, there's nothing, there's a baseline, but some dogs, oh, but this dog is nothing. I could train it and give me 2 weeks and we're done.
Yeah.
Some dogs is 3 months doing the same thing
Wow.
because it depends on what we're working.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so for Mo, he seems like he's very scared and skittish of everything. And so, like, when we're at home and I tell him to stay and, like, I need to go grab something and, like, I just want him to stay upstairs because we're about to go out, he'll stay every time. But if there's people around, I've never had this happen before where I tell him to stay and there's, like, a bunch of people around and I go off and do something. But I imagine he would just follow me because he would be too weirded out by all the people.
Mm-hmm. You're describing a dog, yeah?
Yeah.
In correct terms, you understand your dog. You're saying you're upstairs, you tell him to stay. Your dog stays because he's home. He's comfortable. He understands his surroundings.
Yeah.
Again, here's another way to look at it. I come to your house to stay, and in the middle of the night, I got to use the bathroom. I don't know your house,
Yeah.
where it's at. So I might turn on some lights. I'm going to creep. I'm going to feel the walls. And then, oh, here we are. You wake up and you just half asleep, go to the bathroom, do your thing, and come back to bed.
He does that.
And because you're understanding of your surroundings. And that's why your dog is cool there. But when you put him in the surroundings that he's not used to, he's going to look for the thing that's going to make him feel comfortable, which is you.
Yeah.
And so he's going to look for you. And that's why again, a well-trained dog is a dog that can handle
Stress
a stressful situation and know all I got to do is sit there.
Yeah.
And just wait because my owner's coming back. But again, even I would say realistically about 30% of dogs of the world are just naturally gifted to be that way. The other 70% aren't. There's something just not they're just not confident. They're kind of like your dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you did anything wrong. There's things you could have done better.
It's just the
but it's
temperament,
just the way they are. Yeah. There's just they're dependent on us. And in that dependency creates fear, behavioral issues, little things that you might not, you just adapt to your dog and just adjust to it. But in the big terms, it could have been trained and you could have had a different approach and it had different results. But a lot of times it gets to a point where it's a little too late to get there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's never too late, but
It just gets harder.
Just gets harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the best thing is to start when they're puppies. We start teaching. We want our kids to walk, talk, to stop pooping in the diaper as quick as possible. I'm about to blow your guys' mind. Check this out. You ready? A dog, every year of a dog's life is equivalent to how much of the humans?
7.
It's 7. That's
Seven,
how I was
seven.
hearing.
You
That's
guys,
what they say. 7. Yeah.
why is it 7?
I don't know.
Is
Who said it was 7?
That's what I was
No.
told by my
How do they
dad.
come up with that?
because
No
the
clue.
dogs doesn't understand time.
No, that's true too. They don't have a true concept of time,
Mhm.
but that's a whole different thing. 7 years. That's what they say. They came up with that because they're saying that the average lifespan of a dog is 12 years and the average lifespan of humans 84. You divide 12 to 84, you get
7.
that is to me that's the worst thing to explain how people look at it. It's one of the people just like yeah, it's 7 years, my dog is 14 years old now. No. The first year of a dog's life goes from being born, 0, being born to 1 year is the equivalent of a human 16 to 18.
Whoa.
By the time the dog is 1 year old,
Wait, 16 to 18. So when does 0 happen?
0 is when they were born.
Okay, so 0 to 18 then. It's
0
in the
to
first
18.
year.
In the 1 year of a dog's life, it's the
Whoa.
equivalent of 16 to 18 of a human's life. You go from being born to almost full grown. When you were 16 to 18 year old, that's the
Wow.
way you are.
Whoa.
You were already sexually able to reproduce. A year-old dog can too. You were
Oh.
able, what your brain was at 16 to 18, you're just more today. You're because of experience and wisdom and life.
Mhm.
You're more patient, but you're still the same person.
Okay.
Your dog is the same dog, but as it gets older, it calms down, starts settling. But that first year, if you don't do the right training, you're just setting yourself back.
Yeah.
Wait, because now you're trying to train a 40-year-old man, basically. He's all set in these habits. Who's
Bingo.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that.
And most people don't usually get their dog in that first year. Sometimes, I mean,
No, normally they get it at 8 to 10 weeks old if you're getting a dog, or sometimes 3
like
months old.
all of ours are rescues, and we got them at fucking.
Somebody
year
else put the
3.
work in,
Yeah.
and listen,
Hopefully.
I'm always really big about dogs, rescuing, fostering, and getting dogs from the shelters. But I also, when some people come to me and say, I really want a dog and I wanted to do this and I'm gonna go rescue a dog, I'm like, there's usually a reason why the dog's at the shelter.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
for what your needs and wants might not be the best.
Mm.
You're just gonna be getting dogs and might take it back, or you're gonna be, now you have, instead of 1, you got 5
Yeah.
till you get to that right dog.
Mm.
So it's
a gamble.
it's training them, it's teaching them exactly what you want them to do from a very early stage.
I wish.
I kick him was peeing.
Yeah, sorry. He came on. He's like, what? What do you want? Like that? Monica, Jordan, you guys have some questions from our listeners, right? Some
Yes,
stuff
we
that we
do.
wanted to know about dogs in the greater dog world.
Yes. So we have a question here from Ree, and she says, "How can I get my dog to be nice when new people come into my house? She's very territorial because her previous owners didn't treat her well."
Wow. I mean, if she was here, I would ask her a few more questions, but I'll get right to what I think. There's, if she believes it's because of the previous owners, that's trauma, and there's some trauma there. So she should do some obedience training and gain control. A lot of times people fail to do to they think they have control of their dogs, but they really don't.
Mm.
So getting control is like getting an education. Okay. Getting an education is understanding ABCDs, 1, 2, 3s. Okay. Uh that's the education. And then everything else is life.
Mm.
So going to school, you could be a Harvard grad, but you have no common sense. You're still gonna have issues growing up. That's, I think, in her dog situation, for what she's describing, the dog already is carrying some trauma, but I think she needs to begin with doing some obedience training, teaching the dog to sit, stay, gaining some control in that way. And when people come in, getting the dog to maintain that poise, understand to be patient, understand to, and don't get people to come over there and just pet your dog. And because again, everybody thinks, oh, socialization, but sometimes dogs need to just be left alone, and you just need them. So if they learn that I could just sit, you're telling me to sit, I could sit here and people could come in and I don't have to react to them. Okay, I can handle this. But if you never teach them to do that, they don't know. So that's just, there's a lot deeper things that I would ask, even the age of the dog and whatever, but that's how I would answer that question.
I love that. Thank you, Steve. Shout out Ree. Jordan, do you have one?
We have one from Oli. How do I get my dog to stop crying and sulking? He gets all the love and snacks he desires, but he will still walk around the house and whine and sulk.
All right. Hey, this is great. I'm a dad of 5, and I remember getting a book on how to raise your kids. I was a 17-year-old,
Dang.
reading this book, and there were some things that I got out of it, but one thing stuck to me, and it stuck to me hard, and I apply it to dogs today. And that's that you got to teach your dog. You got to teach your kids, well, your dogs, to be bored sometimes. It's not always about giving them something to pacify the time. I mean, even I'm at fault of this. We're eating, and my kids are sitting there on their phones. I mean, they're 13 and they have phones. They've had phones since they were 8. I was one of the first to have a cell phone in high school. I remember that because I already had a business. And so I had a beeper and everything. And they were looking at me. They thought I was a drug dealer. I had some money. Yeah, I was doing pretty well with the dog in the dog game. But that's the first thing. You gotta, if the dog's walking around sulking and whining, but you're giving things to pacify, what you're really doing is encouraging the behavior by giving them a reward for it.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that. I was with a client yesterday, and she says, I got to do the cookie crumbles. I said, what's the cookie crumbles? I got to crumble some cookies in her cage before we leave.
I gotta do the cookie crumbles.
That face, Steve.
I was like, no way. You know what? She's gonna see this, and you know I'm talking about you.
I was about to
No
say.
more cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So you teach them. You gotta teach them to be bored. You gotta teach them to become independent. Again, it's a process. It's not just like just teach them. I mean, it is a process, but that's where you have to hire a trainer to help you. And and I don't think a lot of trainers understand that.
Yeah.
I've mentored a few of them, and they all want to go out and train dogs. But I'm like, you also have to train the human, and you got to learn behavior. Behavior, it's literally what's keeping you in business. You got to understand how to deal with it.
I mean, it's a trip because honestly, I could totally think of tons of adults, myself included, who struggle with routine on a human level. So like the thought of having to set that routine for a different being is kind of interesting.
Oh, nice.
I'm like, I can't even do some things on a certain schedule sometimes, like to think that. So I'm like, I'm glad I have a family.
Sometimes Xolo poops his pants.
Sometimes I poop my pants.
Yeah, I was there at one point. I was a kid too. I was young.
He's like, I was 12 years old.
You know what
It
else?
felt like
When
I was 12 for a long time. I guess,
It's like, dude, bro, you know, why when you were 12?
That sounds so much like my mom. It was like, oh yeah, ba 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 ba. I was working this and that. I was 6 years old or something.
Yeah.
This has been one of the coolest conversations we've gotten to do, Steve. I really appreciate you kind of coming on. Please bring some dogs next time. That was the only thing we're missing. We want to.
Well, I was just told to come.
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's true.
I
We're
just told to
definitely-
come.
for the next time we're gonna definitely
Yeah, we got to talk about your book.
fill up the room. Please come back.
Yeah, I'm working on it. So hopefully, give me a few more months. You're
You have
looking
1
at
month.
oh,
Okay.
you're looking at 500 plus breeds.
Yeah.
And what's going to separate my book from everybody else's is that what I'm trying to do is give you a breakdown, a small history, tell you about their temperament and whatnot, but also add my point
I'm
of
so
view
excited,
of the person. Like, this dog, this is from a trainer's point of view and my
What these-
experiences,
you have
and
the
I try
10,000
to write
hours.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to write up. Like I've trained in so many of these dogs, and I've worked them, and this is the commonality of this breed, and this should be best for these type of people. Here's a question. I'm gonna just riddle me this.
Okay.
You guys can have any breed of dog. What breed is it? Let's start with you, Xolo. Any breed of dog, purebred.
I don't. I mean, right now it would be a
Any
toss
dog
up,
breed.
a toss up between the Rottweiler or the Cavapoo.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you, Jacob?
Malinois.
I'll go with you first.
Okay.
From just meeting you and seeing the way you are, I don't think you're a Malinois person.
No,
Whoa.
No.
that's the dog
And-
I had growing up, and I just loved her.
And that's where I so a lot of people come to me and like, I want this breed,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, you're not the right person for that type of dog.
Mm.
So that's something that I want to put in my book where I
Yeah.
can have people say, because everybody says I want something and they dream and that's
I
what
want
they
a
want to grow.
Chihuahua so bad.
And there's like, yeah, you're not a Chihuahua owner.
Mm-mm.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle, the way you are,
This is not really for
it's
you.
not really for you. There's
Yeah.
so many other breeds, but not that breed.
What is that dog? One of my cousins has this dog that like is named the angriest dog or something like this. It's an all like black breed. It's something Christie or Corpus
King Corso?
King. Yeah,
King-
the King Corso. What is it?
Connie Corso.
Connie
Yeah.
Corso.
Mm.
That.
Ooh,
What is up with that?
Those are
dog?
angry.
Why is that dog so angry?
you just open a whole nother Pandora's
Okay.
box there. I just did a write up on it, and I'm a shorten it as
Okay.
short and sweet as I can. It is the Connie Corso. I challenge people all the time. I said, do your history, because they always say, I researched the breed and this is the breed for me. All right, ready? Go find in history prior to in the 1900s to 1950,
Okay.
any pictures or anything historical about the breed. No, you're looking it up, Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm looking up. Yeah.
Try to find anything prior to that, because
To
they're
19 what?
from the 1900s to 1950. Because the true Italian Mastiff is the Neapolitan Mastiff, and it's rich in their history.
Yeah.
But there is no mention of a Cane Corso in any of their history,
Yeah.
and in their history of the breed, not until like the 70s,
So it's a new dog.
70s and 80s. Yeah. So I did some research. I did some deep
Yeah,
research
1970s. This is when it's like first starts mentioning it is in the 70s.
in the 70s. So how can this be an ancient breed?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not no ancient breed. And then the name. So a guy named Michael Sotelli in New Jersey, he's passed away, so he's not here to defend himself. But he was the guy that supposedly went to Italy, saw these dogs on the farm, and said, "Hey, I'm bringing this new breed, and we're gonna, bring them to the States, and they're called Cane Corsos." Well, one of the reasons why they were called Cane Corsos was because they were supposedly a coursing mastiff. Well, history shows us that the only coursing mastiff that there ever was really a Great Dane.
Mm.
The Great Dane was used to hunt boars in Germany. In Italy, they didn't do that. There was kind of no need for that. There's no such thing as it. And so, but he created this story, and that's like any breed. The Dobermans, every breed was created by man. Every breed. We all, some human went and created a breed for the purpose that they needed. Retrievers to retrieve again, pointers to point, Rottweilers for that. Louis Doberman created the breed and just gave him his last name.
Mm.
So he did the same thing in the 70s. He basically, my belief and my research is that he did it, created a breed. In 94, he passed away. But with that being said, he put it out there because he was in conjunction working with AKC, and they just recently in 2010 accepted it and made it a new breed, like a recognized breed.
Mm.
But prior to that, there's nothing. There's really nothing. Now, here's my problem with it when you go answer your question. The angriest breed, I feel differently about them.
Okay.
I think that they're base their aggression on fear.
Mm.
most of the breeds of that breed are fear aggressive. And so, of course, when you're scared of something, you're the loudest in the room. You're the meanest looking in the room. And dogs will show teeth, their hair will go up, they'll bark, they'll growl, they try to be loud, like a big bully.
Mm.
But they're really
scared.
scared, which is why the label in
That's
our
their defense. That's
it's
the walls that they put up.
we call it a fear aggression.
Hmm.
And it's very prominent in the breed. And I believe breeders, because it is a breed now, breeders should try to breed that out and build a more confident dog.
Hmm.
But
You got to be there early.
no, I think they need to really not breed the dogs that they have and only breed dogs that are confident
Mm.
to pass that gene on. If you keep breeding dogs that are inferior, guess what you're going to keep producing?
Yeah.
Inferior dogs. So breed better quality
Dogs like
dogs.
Hikama,
Yeah.
like Mo.
So yeah, it's
Better quality, better pizza, Papa John's.
yeah. So yeah, that's
That's interesting. Okay, I do have one question. What do you do when someone calls you and they're like, "Hey, my dog is violent. My dog is like angry, super aggressive, tries to bite people." Like, what is that the cause of? Like, is that a fear thing when they start biting people?
no. If a dog tries to bite a human, you've lost your dog.
Really?
Yeah. You know, there's a again, human nature. There was a show on TV called Pit Bulls and Parolees. Remember that show?
Yeah.
Where you can the idea was that every dog can be rehabilitated. And I my answer to that is you haven't met every dog.
Mm.
I've worked with dogs where I told the client you have to put that dog down because it's just too much. He's going to
Hurt somebody.
hurt somebody
Yeah.
really bad.
Dang.
Think about it like this. Do you believe that there are people that has committed heinous crimes so bad that are put in jail, but they can be given another chance to be let loose again, or should they stay in jail?
Mm.
I mean, we're talking about heinous crimes.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you stole a water bottle and
Yeah. Hey, man, I don't know. It's between you and Jesus, but I would prefer you stay in the cage.
So, with that being said, there's people that think they should be given a second chance and be rehabilitated. Well,
Yep.
they have that same idea with dogs.
Mm.
Dogs that have real bad, mean, aggressive, not fear aggressive, but I want to kill you if I get you. And there's people that own them. There was a guy recently, like 2 years ago, and the dog attacked this elderly dude walking down the street. They let the dog was living in the garage. I'm not going to say their name. It's just, I remember I told him, man, that dog needs to be put to sleep. You can't, nobody should keep him. And sure enough, a couple years ago, the dog came out and, yeah, man, I saw
Messed him
the
up.
ring video caught the
my God.
attack, and they sent me that video, and I'm like, and they're like, he was telling, I was like, man, I told you,
Yeah.
and he's still going through it now, meaning he's still being sued, all the stuff that he's going through
Oh,
right now.
God.
So, there are some dogs that I believe, but when people tell me, I was like, if how can there not be everything in this world? There's animals that are, there's defective cars.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to hang out with Mo and Hikama for the day and tell us about them because it's so interesting. I like that you have been around so many dogs because you can clock so many things that we
Yeah.
can't. Like what we might say is blah blah blah. You might be like, no, this is so clearly, a reaction of this or a symptom of this.
Yeah. This dude, that's not his issue. His
No.
issue is he
He's
thinks
just dumb.
He's
just regular
no,
dumb.
far from dumb. He just does what he wants to do because nobody's telling him no.
Right.
So it's like, but how could I
But I'm not
Nobody,
around. I'm
there's
not
no
around.
no in his life. And he's like Exhibit, living nothing but green lights.
That dog
doing-
is like Exhibit. Look at it. Ears up. Yeah, maybe if we cut his tail.
Yeah.
In your opinion, like the best dog breed, like for a family?
German Shepherd.
Really?
The most. That's the Swiss Army knife of dogs. You can't go wrong. They do it. They can go in any weather. They can handle almost any environment. They're great, and their temperaments are great. Their hair is a big issue, but I
Yeah.
mean, they just multifaceted. They're herding. They were bred to be a herding dog, but they're protection dogs, sight dogs for the blind. I said that for the hearing impaired, service dogs. I mean, you could do almost anything with them.
Wow.
There's not another breed that's that perfect.
Steve, we could talk to you all day about dogs. I don't want to keep you too long. And we got some fun work and stuff to kind of get into. But we do have one last segment before we end each episode, our Song of the Week. It's a playlist that we add songs to each week. And we specifically love our guests to kind of add a song to the playlist. So to wrap things up, could you maybe Jordan and Monica start us off?
Yeah. I mean, this is my song of the week. Before you mentioned the prequel to this song, my song of the week is Bow Wow and Snoop Dogg. That's My Name, which is kind of like my era. And they had Bow Wow and I think Bow Wow morphed in that video. Since you did What's My Name?
What's My Name? Yeah.
Yeah, with Snoop.
Monica, what about you?
And then to keep into the dog theme of today, my song is Howlin' For You by the Black Keys.
Ooh,
Ooh, there's a theme here. There's a theme here. Are we keeping it going?
My song is Dogs Don't Lie by IDK.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Okay. Mine fits the theme, actually. Mine is from Mo's perspective whenever someone knocks at our door.
Okay.
Mine is Who Can It Be Now by Men at Work. Who
Look,
can
look,
it
look,
be
look, so
knocking at my
somebody-
door?
Somebody's got to
Go away.
shuffle it. You guys are happy to have it, and I deal with dogs all day.
Yeah, okay.
So
Switch
for
it up.
me,
It's a cat song.
the song that I was listening to coming up here, and it always reminds me of my kids. Is the way of the world by Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
It's just, and if you're gonna listen to it, listen to the live version.
All right.
You'll be
we
sitting
will.
there
We'll put
rocking.
the live
Could you
version on
sing
it.
a little bit for us?
No.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for coming by. Please, if we want to kind of follow your journey and figure out more about how to get in contact with you, or see what you got going on, where can we do so?
I do have an Instagram.
Okay.
I'm not very big on social media,
That's fine.
and I don't have a website, and I don't have a business card.
Not yet.
Not yet, I guess.
That's right. Yeah.
And people always ask me that. I'm like, my business, I've done so well myself and what I've done that
Word of
it's
mouth is
all
you need.
referrals.
Yeah.
I have never advertised my
Shoot.
business once in my life.
He said, so you'll get his
It's
number
just-
if you
it's-
need it.
Yeah, if you know me, if you know somebody, you're gonna get my
I love-
number.
I love
Yeah.
that program.
Steve the Dog Trainer,
All right.
Instagram.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
fun.
Easy enough. And finally, Monica, who is our Lobito of the week?
Our Lobito of the week is Yuri Salubrious Society and her dog, or their dog, tiny little Frasier Frida Kahlo Winters.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, Yuri and your dog that starts with an F. That's so amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of the Salubrious
Urine
Society.
and your unibrow have an ass
Frida
dog.
Kahlo,
Thank
Freaky
you
Friday,
so much for
I had a
Frothy?
Frank.
Frank.
Thank you so much for supporting our podcast. Thank you for really being a Lobito. If you'd like to be like Yuri, you can do so at lonelobos.supercast.com. But until then, we appreciate you following our dreams, supporting us, and thank you so much, Steve, for coming on. Please come back soon.
Thank you
okay?
guys. I thank you guys.
Heck
for having me. Thank you guys.
This episode of Lone Lobos is a Lone Lobos production, produced by Monica Tamayo and JMKM, with intro music by Nicholas Gray. Like what you hear? Check us out on Instagram at Lone Lobos.